Imagine a tiny speck of radioactive dust capable of poisoning entire cities, or a reactor glitch that sends fallout drifting across continents. Throughout history, we've repeatedly grappled with radiation we couldn't fully control. From minor lab mistakes to major meltdowns, these incidents expose how deadly radiation can be when things go wrong. Today, we reveal the top 10 radioactive mishaps the world struggled to contain. The Goiânia accident, Brazil, 1987. Scrap metal scavengers found an abandoned cesium-137 radiotherapy capsule in an old clinic. Curious, they pried it open and admired its glowing powder, unaware it was highly radioactive. Dozens were contaminated, 4 died. Cleanup crews had to demolish houses, incinerate belongings, and isolate topsoil. This tragedy underscored that even small sources can wreak havoc if handled without care. The lost Soviet lightning seeds, 1970s, 1980s. In remote parts of Russia, tiny radioisotope generators powered lighthouses and weather stations. Many were abandoned or stolen, known as lightning seeds to locals, who sometimes didn't realize they were lethal. Some hikers reported severe burns from stumbling onto these rusting units in the tundra. Efforts to track them down continue, as each remains a ticking health hazard. Kyshtym disaster, Soviet Union, 1957. Before Chernobyl, Kyshtym at the Mayak plant was the USSR's worst nuclear accident. A waste storage tank exploded, releasing radioactive particles across hundreds of square kilometers. Thousands were forced to evacuate, though officials kept it secret for decades. Known as the Ghost Disaster, it exposed the dangers of storing nuclear waste in poorly designed containers. The SL-1 Reactor Explosion, USA, 1961. At a remote Idaho test site, a small reactor suffered a steam explosion, killing 3 operators instantly. Investigations hinted at a combination of design flaws and possible human error. Radiation contaminated the facility. One body was so radioactive, it required a lead-lined coffin. SL-1 remains a chilling reminder that even tiny reactors can pose huge risks. Chernobyl meltdown, Ukraine, 1986. Perhaps the most notorious nuclear disaster, Chernobyl Unit 4 exploded during a flawed test. Operators disabled safety systems, leading to a catastrophic power surge and core rupture. Radioactive fallout blanketed large parts of Europe. The Soviet response was slow and secretive, compounding the crisis. Decades later, the exclusion zone remains a grim testament to the cost of negligence. The Windscale Fire, UK, 1957. In a bid to produce weapons-grade plutonium, Britain's Windscale facility overheated its graphite core. A fire erupted, releasing radioactive iodine into the countryside. Milk supplies in nearby areas had to be destroyed for weeks. This event prompted Britain to revise nuclear safety regulations and rename the site Sellafield to distance it from the bad press. The 3 Mile Island partial meltdown, USA, 1979. A cooling system malfunction led to a partial meltdown at the 3 Mile Island reactor in Pennsylvania. Although the containment building mostly held, the accident shook public confidence in nuclear power. Debates raged over how much radiation leaked, but the near crisis underscored that human error and mechanical failure could align dangerously, even in high-tech facilities. The Red Forest, Chernobyl exclusion zone, post 1986. While not a single incident, the Red Forest near Chernobyl remains one of the most contaminated places on Earth. Radiation levels turned pine trees a rusty red color, killing them en masse. Cleanup crews bulldozed swaths of the forest, burying it in trenches. The area remains a stark symbol of how nature bears the brunt of nuclear accidents and can harbor dangerous hotspots for decades. Tokaimura Criticality. Accident, Japan, 1999. In a uranium processing plant, workers poured too much enriched uranium into a tank, triggering an uncontrolled fission chain reaction. 2 technicians died from acute radiation, and a surrounding community faced evacuation orders. The panic in Tokaimura underscored how easy it is to trigger lethal radiation bursts if protocols aren't strictly followed. The Fukushima Daiichi disaster, Japan, 2011. A massive earthquake and tsunami knocked out power at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant, disabling cooling systems. hydrogen explosions damaged reactor buildings, releasing radiation into air and sea. Workers raced to stabilize meltdown conditions in multiple reactors. Even years later, radioactive water management remains a challenge, highlighting how natural disasters can escalate nuclear emergencies. From small capsules in junkyards to giant reactors on coastlines, these mishaps show that radiation demands our utmost respect. One oversight, one unlucky event, and the invisible killer can spill into our world for generations. Which incident shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments. If you found this list eye-opening, be sure to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.